The secure briefing room was filled with tension as Marcus Rodriguez reviewed the mission details that would change everything. After 3 years of exemplary service with Force Reconnaissance, he had been selected for an unprecedented joint operation that would test every skill he had developed and push him beyond anything he had previously experienced. The mission briefing revealed that a high-value terrorist target had been located in a remote compound in Afghanistan. Intelligence indicated that this individual possessed critical information about planned attacks on American interests worldwide. The window of opportunity to capture or eliminate this target was extremely narrow, requiring immediate action by the most capable special operations personnel available. What made this mission unique was its joint nature. Due to the complex operational environment and time constraints, the mission would be conducted by a combined team of Marine Force reconnaissance operators and Navy SEALs. Marcus was selected as the Marine representative on this joint team, a recognition of his exceptional performance and potential for inter-service cooperation. The team leader was Commander Sarah Chan, a Navy SEAL with extensive combat experience and a reputation for successful high-risk missions. Chen had specifically requested Marcus for this operation based on reports of his performance during previous joint training exercises. She needed someone who could seamlessly integrate with SEAL operators while bringing unique Marine Corps capabilities to the mission. The operational plan required the team to infiltrate the target area by helicopter, conduct detailed reconnaissance of the compound, and execute a precision assault that would either capture the target alive or confirm his elimination. The mission had to be completed within a 4-hour window to avoid detection by enemy reinforcements. Marcus spent the next 72 hours immersed in mission preparation. He studied satellite imagery of the target area, memorized the layout of the compound, and rehearsed his specific role in the assault plan. Every detail was critical, and there would be no opportunity for mistakes once the mission began. The intelligence briefings revealed that the target compound was heavily defended, with an estimated 20 to 30 enemy fighters equipped with automatic weapons and rocket-propelled grenades. The compound was situated in mountainous terrain that limited approach routes and made extraction particularly challenging. The SEAL team members were initially skeptical about working with a Marine, despite Marcus's impressive record. Inter-service rivalry was common in the special operations community, and each branch believed their training and techniques were superior. Marcus understood he would need to prove himself worthy of their confidence through performance rather than reputation. Training exercises with the SEAL team revealed both similarities and differences in their operational approaches. The SEALs emphasized maritime operations and had extensive experience with ship-based missions, while Marcus brought expertise in ground reconnaissance and mountain warfare. The combination of capabilities would be essential for mission success. Commander Chen proved to be an exceptional leader who focused on mission accomplishment rather than service rivalries. She recognized that Marcus's unique skills and experience would enhance the team's capabilities, and she worked to integrate him fully into their operational planning process. The weapons and equipment selection for this mission included the most advanced technology available to special operations forces. Marcus was issued a customized rifle system with advanced optics, night vision devices, and communication equipment that would allow precise coordination throughout the operation. The helicopter insertion would be conducted using modified aircraft capable of high-altitude operations in mountainous terrain. The pilots were among the most experienced in the military, with extensive combat experience in similar environments. Even so, the insertion would be challenging due to weather conditions and enemy air defense capabilities. Marcus's role in the mission was multifaceted. He would serve as the primary reconnaissance specialist during the approach phase, using his expertise to identify potential threats and guide the team safely to their objective. During the assault phase, he would be responsible for securing the compound's outer perimeter while the SEALs conducted the interior search. The mission launch was scheduled for a moonless night that would provide maximum concealment, but also create challenging conditions for navigation and target identification. The team would rely heavily on night vision technology and their training to overcome the limitations imposed by darkness. The helicopter flight to the target area took 3 hours, flying at extremely low altitudes to avoid enemy radar detection. Marcus used this time for final equipment checks and mental rehearsal of his specific responsibilities. He had never felt more prepared for a mission, yet he understood that no amount of preparation could account for all possible contingencies. The insertion went smoothly, with the helicopter landing briefly in a concealed position approximately 2 kilometers from the target compound. The team immediately established security and began their approach through difficult mountainous terrain that tested their physical conditioning and navigation skills. Marcus took point during the approach, using his reconnaissance training to identify safe routes and potential enemy positions. His ability to move silently through challenging terrain while maintaining awareness of his surroundings impressed the SEAL team members and validated Commander Chen's decision to include him on the mission. The team reached their observation position overlooking the target compound just as intelligence had predicted. Marcus conducted detailed surveillance of enemy positions and movement patterns, providing critical information that allowed the team to refine their assault plan based on real-time conditions. The compound was more heavily defended than intelligence reports had indicated. Marcus counted at least 35 enemy fighters, significantly more than the estimated 20 to 30. He also observed the presence of heavy weapons positions that had not been identified in the pre-mission briefings. Commander Chen made the difficult decision to proceed with the mission despite the increased enemy presence. The intelligence value of the target was too important to abandon, and the team's capabilities were sufficient to overcome the additional challenges if they executed the plan perfectly. The assault began with Marcus eliminating 2 exterior sentries using suppressed weapons, clearing the way for the SEAL team to approach the main compound buildings. His marksmanship skills proved essential during these initial engagements, as any alarm would have compromised the mission's surprise advantage. The SEAL team moved through the compound systematically, clearing each building and searching for the high-value target. Marcus maintained overwatch from his position, providing security and communication relay between the assault team and their helicopter support. Complications arose when enemy reinforcements arrived sooner than expected. Marcus observed a convoy of vehicles approaching the compound and immediately alerted the team to the developing threat. His early warning allowed the SEALs to accelerate their search and prepare for defensive action. The firefight that followed tested every aspect of Marcus's training and experience. He engaged multiple enemy positions simultaneously while coordinating with the SEAL team to maintain their tactical advantage. His ability to remain calm under intense pressure and make rapid tactical decisions proved crucial to the mission's success. During the height of the battle, Marcus observed that one of the SEAL operators had been wounded and was unable to continue the mission. Without hesitation, he left his overwatch position and moved into the compound to provide assistance, exposing himself to significant risk in order to help his teammate. His medical training allowed him to stabilize the wounded SEAL operator while continuing to engage enemy forces. The combination of tactical proficiency and concern for his teammates demonstrated the leadership qualities that had been developing throughout his military career. The target was successfully located and captured alive, providing intelligence personnel with the opportunity to gather critical information about planned terrorist attacks. However, the team's extraction was complicated by the continued presence of enemy forces and the need to evacuate the wounded SEAL operator. Marcus volunteered to remain behind with a small security team to cover the evacuation of the target and wounded operator. This decision placed him in extreme danger, but ensured that the mission's primary objectives could be accomplished without additional casualties. The extraction helicopter came under enemy fire as it departed with the target and wounded operator. Marcus and his security team maintained suppressive fire that allowed the aircraft to escape safely, but this also revealed their position to remaining enemy forces. The team was now surrounded by enemy forces and facing a fighting withdrawal to an alternate extraction point several kilometers away. Marcus's knowledge of mountain warfare and his physical conditioning became essential factors in their survival during the next several hours. He led the team through a series of tactical movements that confused the pursuing enemy forces and allowed them to reach the alternate extraction point. His navigation skills and ability to read terrain features in darkness were crucial to avoiding enemy ambushes and reaching safety. The successful completion of this mission had far-reaching implications for Marcus's military career. His performance during the operation earned him recognition from the highest levels of the Special Operations Command and opened opportunities that had not previously existed. Commander Chin's after-action report praised Marcus's technical competence, tactical decision-making, and selfless dedication to mission accomplishment. She specifically recommended him for advanced training and leadership positions within the Special Operations community. The mission's success also led to the prevention of multiple terrorist attacks against American targets worldwide. The intelligence gathered from the captured target provided critical insights into terrorist networks and planned operations that allowed security forces to take preventive action. Marcus was awarded the Bronze Star Medal with Combat V for his actions during the mission. The citation recognized his courage under fire, tactical excellence, and contribution to mission success. More importantly, the award represented recognition of his transformation from struggling teenager to elite warrior. The success of this joint operation led to increased cooperation between Marine Force reconnaissance and Navy SEAL units. Marcus became a liaison between the two communities, helping to develop training programs and operational procedures that improve their ability to work together. His reputation within the Special Operations community continued to grow, and he received offers for advanced training and leadership positions from multiple units. The options available to him represented opportunities that would have been unimaginable just a few years earlier. The decision to pursue Navy SEAL qualification became increasingly attractive as Marcus considered his future career path. The SEALs offered unique training opportunities and mission capabilities that would expand his knowledge and skills while providing new challenges. Commander Chun encouraged Marcus to consider transferring to the Navy and pursuing SEAL qualification. She believed his skills and experience would be valuable additions to the SEAL community, and she offered to sponsor his application and provide recommendations. The process of transferring from the Marine Corps to the Navy was complex and required approval from multiple levels of command. Marcus's exceptional performance record and the support of senior officers in both services helped facilitate the necessary approvals. SEAL training represented a new challenge that would test Marcus in different ways than his previous military experiences. The training was designed to push candidates beyond their perceived limitations while developing the unique skills required for maritime special operations. The physical demands of SEAL training were intense, but Marcus's conditioning and previous special operations experience prepared him well for these challenges. His ability to remain calm under stress and think clearly during physical exhaustion served him well throughout the training process. The completion of SEAL training marked another transformation in Marcus's military career. He was now qualified to serve in multiple special operations communities, a rare achievement that reflected his adaptability and commitment to excellence. His first assignment as a Navy SEAL was to a team specializing in direct action missions. The work was demanding and dangerous, but it provided opportunities to apply his skills in new ways while working with some of the most capable operators in the military. Marcus's leadership potential was recognized early in his SEAL career, and he was selected for advanced training that would prepare him for command positions. The combination of his Marine Corps experience and SEAL qualifications made him a unique and valuable asset to the Special Operations community. The promotion to team leader came sooner than expected, reflecting his demonstrated capabilities and the confidence of his superiors. Marcus was now responsible for training and leading other elite operators, a responsibility he approached with the same dedication that had characterized his entire military career. His team's successful completion of multiple high-risk missions established Marcus's reputation as an exceptional leader capable of achieving objectives while minimizing casualties. His ability to inspire confidence and make sound tactical decisions under pressure became legendary within the SEAL community. The transformation from Marcus Rodriguez, construction worker from East Los Angeles, to Commander Rodriguez, Navy SEAL team leader, represented more than just career advancement. It demonstrated that circumstances of birth do not determine limits of achievement, and that dedication and hard work can overcome any obstacle. His success also provided opportunities to give back to the community and inspire others facing similar challenges. Marcus established scholarship programs for disadvantaged youth and spoke at schools and underserved communities about the opportunities available through military service. The impact of that pivotal combat mission extended far beyond Marcus's personal success. It demonstrated the value of joint operations between different special operations units and led to improved cooperation throughout the military. The lessons learned from the mission influenced training programs and operational procedures for years to come. Marcus's story became an inspiration to others in the military and civilian communities. His rise from poverty to leadership in the elite special operations community proved that the American dream remained achievable for those willing to work for it. The skills and leadership qualities developed during his military career prepared Marcus for continued success in whatever challenges lay ahead. Whether remaining in military service or transitioning to civilian careers, he possessed the knowledge, experience, and character needed to excel in any environment. His legacy would not be measured only by his personal achievements, but also by the impact he had on others and the example he set for future generations. The struggling teenager who once stood outside a military recruitment office had become living proof that transformation is possible for anyone willing to embrace the challenge. Marcus Rodriguez graduated from Marine Corps recruit training with honors, earning recognition as one of the top performers in his platoon. The transformation from uncertain teenager to disciplined Marine was complete, but he knew this was only the beginning of his journey. His next assignment would take him to advanced infantry training, where he would learn the specialized skills required for his military occupational specialty. The School of Infantry at Camp Pendleton was a completely different environment from recruit training. Here, the focus shifted from breaking down civilian habits to building up combat capabilities. Marcus was assigned to an infantry unit, which meant he would learn marksmanship, small unit tactics, and the art of modern warfare. His instructors were experienced Marines who had served multiple combat deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. They brought real-world knowledge to every lesson, sharing stories and insights that could not be found in any textbook. Marcus absorbed every detail, understanding that this information might one day save his life or the lives of his fellow Marines. The marksmanship training was particularly challenging and rewarding. Marcus had never fired a weapon before joining the Marines, but he discovered a natural aptitude for precision shooting. His instructors noticed his potential and provided additional coaching that helped him develop exceptional accuracy with both rifle and pistol. During field exercises, Marcus consistently demonstrated the leadership qualities that would define his military career. When other Marines struggled with navigation or tactical problems, he stepped forward to help find solutions. His willingness to accept responsibility and his ability to remain calm under pressure caught the attention of senior instructors. The completion of infantry training marked another milestone in Marcus's development, but he had his sights set on something more challenging. He had learned about force reconnaissance during his research before enlisting, and he was determined to earn a spot in one of these elite units. The selection process was notoriously difficult, with failure rates exceeding 90%. His first assignment after infantry school was to a conventional Marine infantry unit stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. This posting would provide him with the operational experience and leadership opportunities needed to qualify for special operations training. Marcus approached this assignment as preparation for his ultimate goal rather than a final destination. The unit he joined had recently returned from a deployment to Afghanistan, and many of the Marines were experienced combat veterans. As one of the newest and youngest members of the unit, Marcus had to prove himself worthy of their respect and trust. He did this by volunteering for every difficult assignment and maintaining the highest standards in all aspects of his performance. His platoon sergeant was Staff Sergeant Williams, a tough Marine who had served 4 combat deployments and earned a reputation for developing exceptional junior Marines. Williams recognized Marcus's potential immediately, but was determined to test his commitment and resilience before providing advanced opportunities. The training exercises at Camp Lejeune were designed to simulate the challenges of modern combat operations. Marcus participated in urban warfare training, helicopter insertion exercises, and long-range reconnaissance missions that pushed his physical and mental limits. Each exercise provided valuable experience that would serve him well in future assignments. During one particularly challenging exercise, Marcus's squad was tasked with conducting a nighttime raid on a simulated enemy position. The mission required precise coordination, stealth movement, and split-second decision-making under intense pressure. Marcus was designated as the squad leader for this exercise, despite being one of the least experienced Marines in the unit. The mission began well, with the squad moving silently through difficult terrain toward their objective. However, complications arose when they encountered unexpected obstacles that were not part of the original plan. Marcus had to quickly assess the situation and develop alternative approaches while maintaining mission security. His decision-making during this exercise impressed both his fellow Marines and the instructors who were evaluating their performance. Marcus demonstrated the ability to adapt to changing circumstances while keeping his team focused on achieving their objective. This type of flexible leadership would become one of his strongest characteristics throughout his military career. Staff Sergeant Williams took notice of Marcus's performance and began providing him with additional responsibilities and training opportunities. He explained that exceptional Marines were not created by accident, but through deliberate development and increasingly challenging assignments. Marcus embraced every opportunity to learn and grow. The physical demands of military training continued to push Marcus beyond his previous limitations. The Marine Corps physical fitness standards were just the minimum requirement, and serious Marines were expected to exceed these standards significantly. Marcus spent his free time in the gym and running on the beach, building the strength and endurance that would be essential for special operations training. His academic development was equally important. Marcus enrolled in college courses through the Base Education Center, working toward a degree in military science. He studied military history, strategy, and leadership theory, understanding that modern warfare required both physical and intellectual capabilities. The application process for force reconnaissance required extensive documentation of his military performance, physical fitness scores, and leadership potential. Marcus worked with Staff Sergeant Williams to prepare a comprehensive package that highlighted his achievements and demonstrated his readiness for advanced training. The initial screening for force reconnaissance took place at Camp Lejeune and included psychological evaluations, intensive physical fitness tests, and interviews with experienced special operations personnel. Marcus was one of 30 Marines selected from over 200 applicants to attend the formal selection and training program. The selection course was conducted at various military installations and lasted several months. The training was designed to identify Marines who possessed the mental toughness, physical capabilities, and personality traits required for special operations missions. The failure rate was extremely high, and many excellent Marines were eliminated during the process. The physical challenges included long-distance swimming in rough ocean conditions, marathon runs with heavy equipment loads, and obstacle courses that tested every aspect of fitness and coordination. Marcus found these challenges difficult but manageable, thanks to his years of preparation and natural athletic ability. The psychological aspects of the training were more challenging than the physical demands. The instructors used various techniques to create stress and uncertainty, testing each candidate's ability to make sound decisions under extreme pressure. Some Marines who excelled at physical training were eliminated because they could not maintain their composure during these psychological challenges. Marcus's background had prepared him well for the mental aspects of selection training. Growing up in a dangerous neighborhood had taught him to remain calm in threatening situations and to think clearly when others might panic. These skills proved invaluable during the most stressful portions of the selection process. The technical training included advanced marksmanship, demolitions, communications, and small unit tactics. Each subject was taught at a level of detail and precision that far exceeded standard Marine Corps training. Marcus discovered that special operations required mastery of numerous specialized skills that were not taught elsewhere in the military. Navigation training was particularly intensive, requiring candidates to find their way through unfamiliar terrain using only map and compass. The exercises were conducted in various weather conditions and times of day, simulating the unpredictable nature of real-world operations. Marcus spent countless hours practicing these skills until navigation became second nature. The survival training portion of the course was designed to prepare Marines for situations where they might be isolated behind enemy lines for extended periods. Candidates learned to find water, build shelter, procure food, and evade enemy forces while maintaining their mission capability. This training pushed every candidate to their physical and psychological limits. Marcus struggled initially with the survival exercises, having grown up in an urban environment where these skills were not necessary. However, his determination and willingness to learn helped him master the required techniques. He spent extra time with instructors, asking questions, and practicing until he achieved proficiency. The leadership evaluation was ongoing throughout the entire selection process. Instructors observed how each candidate interacted with others, made decisions under pressure, and responded to authority. They were looking for Marines who could lead others in the most challenging circumstances while maintaining the highest standards of performance. Marcus's leadership style was quiet and competent rather than loud and dramatic. He led by example, working harder than anyone else and never asking others to do something he was not willing to do himself. This approach earned him the respect of his fellow candidates and the approval of the instructors. As the selection process continued, the number of candidates steadily decreased. Some were eliminated for failing to meet physical standards, others for inability to master required skills, and still others for personality traits that were incompatible with special operations. Marcus remained focused on his own performance while supporting his fellow candidates whenever possible. The final exercise was a comprehensive test that combined all the skills learned during the selection process. Candidates were required to plan and execute a simulated mission that included infiltration, reconnaissance, target destruction, and extraction. The exercise lasted several days and was conducted with minimal sleep and limited food. Marcus was selected as the leader for his team's final exercise, a responsibility that carried significant risk. If the mission failed, the team leader would bear the primary responsibility for the failure. However, successful completion in a leadership role would demonstrate readiness for the responsibilities of special operations. His team's mission required them to infiltrate a heavily defended area, gather intelligence on enemy activities, and destroy a target using demolitions. The exercise was designed to test every aspect of their training while simulating the stress and uncertainty of actual combat operations. The infiltration phase went smoothly, with the team successfully avoiding simulated enemy patrols and reaching their objective area undetected. Marcus's navigation skills and tactical planning proved effective in getting the team into position for the intelligence gathering portion of the mission. The reconnaissance phase required detailed observation and documentation of enemy activities over a 24-hour period. Team members took turns conducting surveillance while others rested and prepared for the next phase of the mission. Marcus coordinated these activities while maintaining communication with higher headquarters. The target destruction phase was the most dangerous part of the exercise, requiring the team to move close to heavily defended positions while carrying explosive devices. Marcus planned the approach carefully, identifying multiple routes and backup plans in case the primary approach was compromised. The team successfully placed their demolitions and withdrew to a safe distance before detonating the charges. The explosion marked the completion of their primary mission, but they still needed to reach their extraction point while avoiding enemy forces that were now actively searching for them. The final phase tested the team's ability to evade pursuit while moving through difficult terrain to reach their extraction point. Marcus led his team through a series of route changes and deception techniques that confused the pursuing forces and allowed them to reach safety. The successful completion of the final exercise marked the end of the selection process for Marcus and the few remaining candidates. Out of the 30 Marines who had started the program, only 8 successfully completed all requirements and were selected for assignment to force reconnaissance units. The graduation ceremony was a subdued affair, reflecting the serious nature of the responsibilities they were about to assume. Senior officers from the Special Operations community addressed the new Force Reconnaissance Marines, explaining the expectations and standards that would govern their future service. Marcus's first assignment as a qualified Force Reconnaissance Marine was to a unit based at Camp Pendleton, California. This unit was responsible for conducting reconnaissance and surveillance missions in support of Marine expeditionary units deploying around the world. The work would be challenging and dangerous, but it represented the culmination of everything he had worked toward since enlisting. The transition from selection training to operational assignment required another period of adjustment and learning. Marcus was now working with Marines who had years of experience in special operations, and he needed to prove himself worthy of their confidence and trust. His new team leader was Gunnery Sergeant Martinez, a veteran of multiple combat deployments who had earned numerous decorations for valor in action. Martinez took personal responsibility for training new team members and ensuring they were ready for the demands of operational missions. The advanced training at the unit level focused on specific mission requirements and the use of specialized equipment not available during the selection course. Marcus learned to operate advanced communication systems, night vision devices, and precision weapons that were essential for reconnaissance missions. His first operational deployment came 6 months after joining the unit. The Marine Expeditionary Unit was conducting training exercises in the Pacific, and the Force Reconnaissance Team was tasked with providing reconnaissance support for amphibious landing operations. The deployment provided Marcus with his first taste of real-world operations, albeit in a training environment. He experienced the challenges of working from ships, conducting helicopter insertions, and operating in unfamiliar terrain while maintaining communication with distant headquarters. His performance during the deployment earned positive evaluations from his team leader and unit commander. Marcus had demonstrated the technical competence and mental toughness required for special operations while showing potential for future leadership responsibilities. Upon returning from deployment, Marcus was selected for additional specialized training that would expand his capabilities and prepare him for more challenging assignments. The Marine Corps was investing in his development because senior leaders recognized his potential for significant contributions to the special operations community. The specialized training included advanced marksmanship instruction, foreign language study, and cross-training with other special operations units from different branches of the military. Each program added to Marcus's knowledge and skills while exposing him to different approaches and techniques. His language training focused on Spanish and Arabic, languages that were particularly relevant to current military operations around the world. Marcus's natural facility with languages, enhanced by his bilingual childhood, allowed him to achieve proficiency more quickly than many of his peers. The cross-training opportunities included working with Navy SEALs, Army Special Forces, and Air Force Special Operations personnel. Each unit had different mission focuses and operational techniques, but all shared common values of excellence, professionalism, and dedication to mission accomplishment. During one joint training exercise, Marcus worked alongside a Navy SEAL team conducting maritime operations. The SEALs were impressed with his professionalism and tactical knowledge, and they suggested that he might consider cross-training to become qualified as a SEAL operator. The idea of becoming a Navy SEAL intrigued Marcus, but he was committed to his Marine Corps career and felt loyalty to the Force Reconnaissance community that had invested so much in his development. However, the suggestion planted a seed that would influence his thinking about future career opportunities. As his experience and reputation grew within the special operations community, Marcus began receiving offers for advanced assignments and training opportunities. Senior leaders recognized his potential and were eager to provide him with the experiences needed for future leadership positions. His tactical knowledge and leadership abilities were tested during increasingly complex training exercises and real-world missions. Marcus consistently performed at the highest levels, earning the respect of his peers and the confidence of his superiors. The foundation was being laid for the pivotal moment that would define his career and change his life forever. Marcus Rodriguez had transformed from a struggling teenager in East Los Angeles to a highly trained Special Operations Marine with unlimited potential. The stage was set for the combat order that would test everything he had learned and reveal the true extent of his capabilities. Marcus Rodriguez stood at the edge of the recruitment office parking lot, his worn sneakers scuffing against the cracked asphalt. At 19, he had calloused hands from years of construction work and a bank account that barely covered his monthly rent. The Marine Corps recruitment posters stared back at him through the glass window, showing soldiers in pristine uniforms with confident smiles. Marcus knew his reality looked nothing like that glossy image. His childhood in East Los Angeles had been a series of challenges that would have broken many people. His father disappeared when Marcus was 8, leaving his mother Maria to raise 3 children on a waitress salary. Their apartment was small, cramped, and located in a neighborhood where gunshots were more common than laughter. Marcus learned early that life meant working hard just to survive another day. School had never been easy for him, not because he lacked intelligence, but because his mind was always elsewhere. While his classmates worried about homework and dating, Marcus worried about whether there would be enough food for dinner. He worked after school at a local mechanic shop, learning to fix cars and earning just enough money to help his mother pay the bills. The guidance counselors at his high school had given up on him by junior year. They saw another Latino kid from a poor family and assumed he would follow the same path as many of his peers. Some joined gangs, others dropped out to work full-time, and a few lucky ones managed to get jobs at the local factory. College seemed like a distant dream reserved for kids whose parents could afford to send them. Marcus had different plans, though he kept them to himself. He spent his free time at the public library, reading military history books and studying maps of distant countries. The stories of soldiers who overcame impossible odds fascinated him. He read about men who came from nothing and became leaders, who faced their fears and emerged stronger. These stories gave him hope that maybe, just maybe, he could create a different future for himself. His mother Maria worked double shifts at the diner to keep their family afloat. She left the house before sunrise and returned well after sunset, her feet aching and her uniform stained with coffee and grease. Despite her exhaustion, she always asked about his day and encouraged him to stay in school. Maria had immigrated from Mexico with dreams of giving her children better opportunities than she had experienced. The neighborhood where they lived was controlled by 2 rival gangs who had been fighting over territory for decades. Marcus walked the same route to school every day, keeping his head down and avoiding eye contact with anyone wearing certain colors. He had seen too many young men his age get caught up in the violence, either as perpetrators or victims. The local newspaper regularly featured stories about teenagers who had been shot or arrested, their futures destroyed before they had really begun. Despite the dangers around him, Marcus maintained his focus on finding a way out. He knew that military service could provide the structure and opportunities he craved. The recruitment offices for all branches of the military were located in a strip mall about 30 minutes from his house. He had visited each one multiple times, asking questions and gathering information about different career paths. The Army recruiter had been friendly and straightforward, explaining how military service could lead to college benefits and job training. The Air Force representative talked about technical careers and the possibility of working with advanced technology. The Navy recruiter discussed traveling the world and learning skills that would translate to civilian careers after service. But it was the conversation with the Marine recruiter that stuck with him. Staff Sergeant Johnson had looked Marcus directly in the eyes and said something that changed his perspective completely. He told Marcus that the Marines did not just want his body for 4 years of service. They wanted to transform him into someone he had never imagined he could become. The idea of transformation appealed to Marcus more than anything else the recruiters had offered. He was tired of being seen as just another poor kid with limited options. He wanted to prove that his circumstances did not define his potential. The Marines promised to challenge him in ways that would reveal strengths he did not know he possessed. His mother was not enthusiastic about his military plans. She had seen too many young men from their neighborhood return from deployments, changed by their experiences. Some came back with physical injuries that limited their ability to work. Others struggled with mental health challenges that affected their relationships and their ability to adjust to civilian life. Maria preferred that Marcus find a stable job locally, perhaps at the factory where several of his uncles worked. The pay was decent, the work was steady, and he would be close to family. She understood his desire for something more, but she also feared losing him to a world she did not understand. His younger brother Carlos thought Marcus was crazy for considering military service. Carlos was 15 and already showing interest in the easy money that came from working with the local gang members. He saw Marcus working long hours for minimum wage and questioned why anyone would choose such a difficult path when there were faster ways to earn money. His sister Rosa was different. At 17, she was the academic star of the family, maintaining straight A grades despite all the challenges at home. She supported Marcus's military plans because she understood his need to escape their current situation. Rosa had her own dreams of attending college and becoming a teacher, but she knew that would require finding financial aid and working multiple jobs. The decision to enlist was not made quickly or easily. Marcus spent months researching different military occupational specialties and considering how each might prepare him for a civilian career. He was particularly interested in roles that would develop his leadership abilities and provide technical training that could not be found elsewhere. One evening, while walking home from work, Marcus witnessed a drive-by shooting that left a 10-year-old girl wounded. As he helped apply pressure to her wounds while waiting for the ambulance, he realized that he could no longer accept the violence and hopelessness that surrounded his daily life. The girl survived, but the incident convinced him that he needed to take action to change his circumstances. The next morning, Marcus returned to the Marine Corps recruitment office with a new sense of determination. He had decided that if he was going to serve in the military, he wanted to join the branch that would challenge him most completely. The Marines had a reputation for transforming ordinary people into extraordinary individuals, and that was exactly what he hoped to achieve. Staff Sergeant Johnson was surprised to see him return so early in the morning, but he recognized the look of determination in Marcus's eyes. They spent the next 3 hours discussing the realities of Marine Corps training and the various career fields available to new recruits. Marcus asked detailed questions about leadership opportunities and the possibility of attending advanced training schools. The conversation eventually turned to the Marine Corps Special Operations community, specifically the force reconnaissance units that conducted specialized missions around the world. Staff Sergeant Johnson explained that these positions required additional training and higher security clearances, but they also provided opportunities to work with the most advanced equipment and tactics available. Marcus was immediately interested in the possibility of joining force reconnaissance, but the recruiter cautioned him about setting his expectations too high. The selection process was extremely competitive, and many excellent Marines never had the opportunity to attend the specialized training required for these positions. Despite the warnings, Marcus felt drawn to the challenge of special operations. He had spent his entire life being underestimated because of his background and appearance. The idea of joining an elite unit where performance was the only thing that mattered appealed to him more than traditional military roles. The paperwork required for enlistment was extensive and complicated. Marcus had to provide documentation about his education, employment history, and legal status. He also underwent a thorough background investigation that required interviews with family members, teachers, and former employers. The process revealed some complications that nearly derailed his enlistment plans. His father's disappearance had left questions about his family's legal status that required additional documentation. Marcus also had to explain several minor legal incidents from his teenage years, including a citation for trespassing when he had been caught exploring an abandoned building. Staff Sergeant Johnson worked with Marcus to address each of these issues, helping him gather the necessary documentation and prepare explanations for anything that might concern the military investigators. The recruiter recognized Marcus's potential and was willing to invest the extra time needed to ensure his successful enlistment. The physical fitness requirements for Marine Corps service were demanding, but Marcus was confident in his abilities. Years of construction work had given him strength and endurance that many of his peers lacked. He began a structured training program that focused on running, swimming, and calisthenics to prepare for the challenges of recruit training. His training routine became a source of curiosity and sometimes mockery in his neighborhood. Other young men questioned why he was working so hard to prepare for something that might not even happen. They suggested that he was wasting his time on unrealistic dreams when he could be earning money and enjoying his youth. Marcus ignored their comments and continued his preparation. He woke up at 5 each morning to run through the streets of his neighborhood, building the cardiovascular endurance that would be essential during recruit training. In the evenings, after work, he practiced pull-ups and push-ups until his muscles burned with exhaustion. The waiting period between enlistment and departure for recruit training was both exciting and nerve-wracking. Marcus continued working at the mechanic shop to save money for his family, knowing that his military pay would not begin until he completed recruit training successfully. He also spent time with his mother and siblings, unsure of when he would see them again. His departure date was set for a Tuesday morning in September. The night before leaving, his family gathered for a farewell dinner that was both celebration and wake. His mother cooked his favorite meal, and his siblings shared memories of their childhood together. Everyone tried to stay positive, but the uncertainty of military life weighed heavily on their minds. Marcus packed his few belongings in a small duffel bag, bringing only the essential items allowed by the Marine Corps. He left behind photo albums, childhood mementos, and most of his civilian clothes. The recruiter had explained that recruit training would provide everything he needed, and personal items would only be a distraction from the transformation process. The bus ride to the military entrance processing station was quiet and contemplative. Marcus watched the familiar neighborhoods of his childhood pass by the window, knowing that he might never see them in quite the same way again. The Marine Corps had promised to change him, and he was ready to discover what that transformation would involve. At the processing station, he joined dozens of other young men and women who had made similar decisions to serve their country. They came from different backgrounds and had different reasons for enlisting, but they all shared the common goal of proving themselves worthy of wearing the Marine Corps uniform. The initial medical examinations and administrative processing took most of the day. Marcus was impressed by the efficiency and professionalism of the military personnel who guided them through each step of the process. Everyone seemed to know exactly what needed to be done and how to do it quickly and correctly. As the day progressed, Marcus felt his excitement building. He was finally taking concrete steps toward the future he had dreamed about for so long. The uncertainty was still there, but it was overshadowed by his determination to succeed in whatever challenges lay ahead. The oath of enlistment ceremony took place in a small auditorium with American flags displayed prominently at the front of the room. Marcus raised his right hand along with his fellow recruits and repeated the words that would bind him to military service for the next several years. The weight of that commitment was both thrilling and sobering. That evening, he called his mother to let her know that everything was proceeding as planned. Maria cried softly during their conversation, expressing her pride in his decision while also voicing her concerns about his safety. Marcus assured her that he would stay in touch as much as possible and that his training would prepare him for whatever challenges he might face. The flight to Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego was his first time on an airplane. Marcus stared out the window as the plane climbed above the clouds, symbolically leaving behind the world he had always known. Below him, the lights of Los Angeles gradually faded into the distance, representing both his past and his determination to create a different future. Upon landing in San Diego, the recruits were immediately transported by bus to the recruit depot. The ride was conducted in complete silence, with drill instructors ensuring that no conversation or confusion interrupted the transition from civilian to military life. Marcus could feel the intensity of the environment even before the bus stopped moving. The moment the bus doors opened, their civilian lives officially ended. Drill instructors began the process of breaking down their individual identities and rebuilding them according to Marine Corps standards. Marcus had read about this process and thought he was prepared, but the reality was more intense than anything he had imagined. His personal belongings were collected and inventoried, then stored until the completion of recruit training. His civilian clothes were packed away, and he was issued the basic uniform items that would serve as his new identity. The transformation from Marcus Rodriguez, construction worker from East Los Angeles, to recruit Rodriguez, United States Marine Corps, had begun. The first night was spent learning basic military customs and courtesies. Everything from how to stand at attention to how to address superior officers was explained in detail and practiced repeatedly. Marcus discovered that even the simplest activities, like walking from one building to another, required precise coordination and discipline. Sleep came in short intervals, interrupted by wake-up calls that seemed to occur just as exhaustion was setting in. The drill instructors explained that this was intentional, designed to simulate the unpredictable nature of military operations where rest might be limited or interrupted without warning. The physical training began immediately and was more demanding than anything Marcus had experienced during his preparation. The drill instructors pushed every recruit beyond their perceived limitations, demonstrating that the human body and mind were capable of much more than most people realized. Academic instruction covered military history, customs, and traditions, and basic knowledge that every Marine was expected to possess. Marcus found these classes fascinating, particularly the stories of Marines who had distinguished themselves in combat throughout the Corps' long history. The drill instructors frequently reminded the recruits that they were being evaluated constantly, and that not everyone would successfully complete the training. Some would be dismissed for failure to meet physical standards, others for inability to master the required knowledge, and still others for lack of the mental toughness required for military service. Marcus was determined to avoid being among those who failed to complete recruit training. He attacked every challenge with the same intensity that had driven him to escape his neighborhood circumstances. Whether it was a physical fitness test, a written examination, or a leadership exercise, he approached each task as an opportunity to prove his worthiness. The weeks of recruit training passed in a blur of physical challenges, academic instruction, and constant evaluation. Marcus discovered strengths he had not known he possessed, and developed skills that would serve him throughout his military career. More importantly, he began to see himself differently, as someone capable of achieving goals that had once seemed impossible. As graduation from recruit training approached, Marcus reflected on how much he had changed in such a short period. The scared teenager who had stood outside the recruitment office had been replaced by a confident young Marine who was ready to face whatever challenges his military career might present. The transformation the Marine Corps had promised was already well underway, and Marcus was eager to see where it would lead him next.